Hi, welcome to City Talk. I'm Michelle Bono, the assistant to the city manager for the city of Tallahassee. We love to celebrate in Tallahassee, and coming this spring, we're going to have, I think, one of the best celebrations about one of the coolest new things in our city. It's called Cascades Park, and on today's show, we're going to tell you a little bit about what the park includes, what it means for you and your family, but we're also going to look at what local businesses have done to make sure this park became a reality. Let's start by joining producer Gil Dasbott to tell us a little bit about one special part of the park and what's in store for all of us.
Tallahassee has received some prestigious recognition over the last few years. Although it's impossible to pick out one single factor leading to our good fortune, you can say local citizens and leaders are forward-thinking about investments to develop our area and make it an even better place to live. Blueprint 2000 is a great example of this approach, a local agency created to initiate and manage long-term improvement projects that modernize the area, protect our natural resources, and make people seriously consider relocating their businesses and their homes to Tallahassee. Many Blueprint 2000 projects are typical government-level improvements like wider roadways. But Cascades Park will make a big impression. Cascades Park is designed to provide flood relief by collecting water during major rain events. But the Blueprint 2000 folks took advantage of its great location to disguise the stormwater facility as a world-class park. In addition to being a gorgeous park, Cascades Park incorporates local culture through the Smoky Hollow Community Memorial and the Meridian Plaza. It supports fitness with 2.3 miles of bike and multi-use trails. And it will serve as a prominent community gathering spot with its attractive vistas and an outdoor amphitheater. All these features will make Cascades Park a great recreation spot, but parks are also great places for children to play. With that in mind, the KCCI Cultivate Cascades team promoted and raised funds for Discovery at Cascades Park presented by First Commerce Credit Union. Going beyond the traditional playground, Discovery will be a playscape, which is described as an interactive outdoor setting for families. Elements including a water feature funded by Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare, hills, plants, tree stumps, and boulders will enhance this special section of Cascades Park. It will be a lot of fun for kids, plus it will encourage exercise and creative play. Discovery will include several inviting play spaces, a cypress climb, a grass dune, a beach sand play area, and a butterfly garden, among others. Discovery will be a marvelous addition to Tallahassee's premier park. Right now, Cascades Park is 75% finished, and excitement is starting to build for completion in the spring of 2013. You can be part of Cascades Park. To get involved, contact Blueprint 2000 or Cultivate Cascades.
Salad on Saturday, fruit on Friday, throw a ball Thursday. Water Wednesday, touch your toes Tuesday. Let's move Monday, spark us next Sunday. 60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
Have a kit so you're ready for any emergency. Develop a plan for what you and your family will do before disaster strikes. And stay informed during severe weather any way you can. Visit ready.gov for ways to prepare your family for emergencies.
Hi, welcome back to City Talk. On today's show, we're talking about Cascades Park, and we have two of the real experts on the project joining us right here today. First, we have Wayne Tedder, who is the director of PLACE, and Wayne, we're going to come back and have you tell us what that is in a minute. And we're going to have Commissioner Gil Ziffer, who actually was involved with this project before you were commissioner, I believe.
It was, yes, several years before I joined the commission.
Okay.
It's been some time.
Now, Wayne, start out and tell us a little bit about what is Cascades Park, and first, also, what is PLACE? Director of Place. What place?
Well, the PLACE stands
I'd like
for,
to know that
What
myself.
place are we talking about here?
PLACE actually is the acronym for Planning, Land Management, and Community Enhancement. But what that entails is I'm actually over at Blueprint 2000, a city and county organization, as well as the Tallahassee-Leon County Planning Department.
Okay, and Blueprint's important because that's really the, I guess the body that oversees a lot of these improvement projects with our sales tax dollars.
That is correct. It's responsible for the implementation of the 2000 sales tax that was adopted by the citizens of Tallahassee and Leon County.
Okay, tell us what this park is all about.
Well, first and foremost, the objective of the park is to serve some stormwater needs throughout the community. There's flooding along Franklin Boulevard, flooding along South Monroe, and a lot of that water has never been treated from the stormwater runoff. So that is the number one objective of this project, is to treat and attenuate flooding throughout that corridor. But what we always say is that it's a stormwater management facility that's going to be disguised as a world-class park.
That sounds
That
great.
sounds good. I like that. Marketing 101.
Yeah, well, and the truth is, for most of us, we don't care most of the time about those stormwater facilities. We care when it rains, but we really want to know what's the park about. Now, Commissioner, tell me how you got started with this.
Sure. It was probably about 8 or 9 years ago. Started to hear about the park because we knew there was remediation going on. There was some dollars that came from the legislature to fix some of the contamination from what was an absolutely beautiful piece of property going back 150 years. And since that time, city and county and state government did everything they could to ruin this beautiful parcel of land. And so there was an effort made on the part of several legislators, including one Representative Lorraine Osley, to secure money to help with the remediation. And we started to hear about some of the things that were going to go on there, and I got excited about it. So I helped with identifying some potential fundraising sources to pay for some of the amenities. Capital Health Plan came forward, and they're paying for all the walking trails, a substantial amount of money from Capital Health Plan. Mainline Information Systems, Rick Carney, has given a substantial amount of money to pay for the water fountain, waterfall, which is something to remind people of what was at one time a sinkhole there, but also the cascading waterfall. Sean Pittman Law Group has stepped forward, and he's paying for the amenity, which is known as Smoky Hollow area. And then we, of course, have, and you'll be talking about that more in the second part of the program, the Discovery Garden and First Commerce Credit Union. So I was involved with identifying those and others to come forward, because this is done with sales tax money, but we also have these amenities which needed some support from the business community, and we've been very fortunate to get those to step forward.
Okay, so most people, I think, probably know where this is, but it's if you're coming down Appalachia Parkway towards the Capitol, it's mostly to the left, a little bit to the right.
Well, that's what's really unique about this park is, first of all, for any downtown area to have a piece of property this close to its downtown core is really quite amazing. So we're fortunate to have that. For me, it's important because it connects our north with our south, our east with our west, because it's basically Appalachia Parkway heading south and then west over to Monroe. It connects the four quadrants of our community. It connects people, and I think once we open, and right now you see a lot of water down there because of the rain we've had, but once it opens, it's really going to be a remarkable place where people will go to see their friends, to enjoy a stroll in the park. Music will be there, all sorts of different amenities. We have a bathhouse, we have this water park for young people and kids to play in, or young people like me to play in.
For kids of all
And
ages.
It really will be a unique place, something that Tallahassee doesn't have. If you're familiar with Orlando, downtown Orlando has Lake Eola, where they have this wonderful fountain, and they have music and art and things there. In Atlanta, their Centennial Park they built for the Olympics. We need something like this, and we're going to have it.
Yeah, Michelle, this is a 24-acre piece of property right in our downtown.
Say that again, 24 acres.
That is correct.
So this is like our Central Park.
So this was a, yes, and this was a large area, just like the Commissioner said, was kind of just set aside and just left in a very declined condition. So this is an opportunity to really bring back life to a portion of our downtown that's not had that life for a long time.
So people hear this and say, well, that's nice, I'm glad you're doing this. I really want to know, what can I do there? When I come out, what am I going to want to do in the park?
Okay.
Well, there's first and foremost, we've had some recent changes in part of the amphitheater for our park. It's going to be turned into a ticketed event, which means that we're really trying to get people from outside of Tallahassee and Leon County to come to our community, and it puts heads in beds, and it's an economic generator. But before that even, that amphitheater was intended to serve needs for the locals, whether it's a Pops in the Park or a band competition for high school students. It's just open for everybody in our community to come and enjoy.
I know we're just brainstorming now, but we've even talked about there might be some family movie nights where we show a movie and you get to come sit there and eat popcorn and have a Coke and sit outside and eat a movie, which is great unless it's August.
I think what this park provides is when you get a group of people together in this community and they talk about, well, what if we had this?
Right.
And what if we had that? Well, this park will provide the opportunity to have a location. One thing Wayne didn't mention, I mentioned it earlier, just briefly, there's a lack of a better description, water park. But if you're familiar with those fountains you see coming out of the ground, how many nozzles do we have?
Oh, there's at least 60, 70 nozzles.
And so kids can play in that, but also at night, we've gone the extra effort where it's lit with different colored lights, and it will be choreographed to music. So when you come out there at night and you may not see kids playing in it, you're going to have this wonderful waterfall effect. If you've been to Vegas and you see Bellagio, it's not that, but for Tallahassee,
it's the
pretty darn
Bellagio.
good.
That's right. And you know, a good example would be 4th of July celebration downtown. You can actually play patriotic music and have the lights,
right,
red, white, and blue lights, and really have a symbol of what our community means to us.
And I know kids love those fountains. You wait to see if the water's going to shoot up. When's it going to come? I mean, that is going to be huge.
And as a grandparent trying to pull your grandchild out, it'll be interesting
Bring
too.
a change of clothes. That's the only
And I'll be
Absolutely.
using my children as an excuse to go down there too.
Absolutely. Now, the other thing that I think is really cool is when we talk about the people who remember the baseball games that used to be played there. There were some changes made to accommodate this, right?
That is correct. We had baseball greats like Joe DiMaggio, Lou Gehrig play on this area in our community, and originally we had greater plans for a commemoration effort. Since that time, we had some discussion with our Parks and Recs department and said, you know, what can we really do here that we can afford for our community and still bring the community here to remember those things that occurred on the site. And basically, we are going to recreate a baseball field. It will not be of regulation size, but it will allow the kids to run around the same bases that these baseball greats played on.
Fantastic.
The field was Centennial Field, and if you grew up here in the 50s and 60s and 70s, you probably played your high school football games there.
Right.
Florida State, their first year they played football. They played football at Centennial Field, and it's my understanding when they got near the end zone, they had to flip because they didn't want to have to run up where the railroad tracks were. So Centennial Field has a tremendous amount of significance for those people that grew up here.
Absolutely.
And one thing I wanted to add was in 1950, the Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce raised funds to build the grandstands at Centennial Field for economic development in our South Side.
Wow.
60 years later,
Right.
we're rebuilding Centennial Field, and it will mean real economic development for our South Side.
That is going to be fantastic. We've talked about the businesses. You've talked about 3 or 4 of them that have made huge commitments to this
Consistently.
project. Wayne, tell me just a little bit about who else has been involved, because I think that's really important.
Yeah, well, before we hit all the businesses, I think it's very important to kind of indicate those. But we also had a number of grants from federal, local, and state agencies contribute. That was about $4.5 million. But we've received over $1 million at this point for some of the amenities on the site. And we have folks from the business community. I think some of the ones that the commissioner had not mentioned at this point is Novi Animal Hospital, Trust for Public Land, SunTrust Bank, Bill and Paula Smith, John S. and James Knight Foundation, all had significant contributions to making this park what it is.
And we don't want to miss the opportunity. If you still would like to be a part, there are still things that need funding. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
There are, but the park, for the most part, will open with just about all the amenities when we open sometime in the spring of next year.
Fantastic. Now, I guess the other thing that sometimes people don't stop and think about is we talk about this local option sales tax, and you know, there's so many things that's done. When I drive on Capitol Circle, when I see the land that's been protected to help with us with our whole water treatment, but this was always the signature project. What does this say to the community about their investment in the sales tax?
Well, and I'm going to come back to that in a second, but I think it's important to identify, and I won't go by name, but the original concept came from those folks that served on the original committee that sat down to determine what all the different projects were. And this was that one project out of all of them that satisfied stormwater improvement, amenities, economic development. Everybody was excited about it, and I want to thank those folks that were originally part of coming up with the concept. It'll be a great park for us, and I think Wayne can probably give a better idea when it's going to open, but I think in spring we'll be all ready for a big event.
Okay.
Yeah, we're certainly shooting for spring for an opening event, but you know, weather may delay us, things like that. But this park, kind of going back to what the Commissioner was saying, this park does satisfy a huge balance in our community. And if I had to say, out of projects that I've been a part of, this is probably one of the most important that I will see in my lifetime being constructed.
And I think what it says about us as a community is that we can come together, and we have. And this is city government, county government, state government, individuals, business stakeholders, you name it, to build something special that we've not had, and it'll be a great moment on opening day.
Well, thank you both. I know we still have 6 months, something along that line, to wait, but as you drive by, it's looking better and better and better, and I think we're all going to be getting so anxious we can't wait to try it all out. So
we're very excited about it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. When we come back, we're going to tell you about one special place inside of the park that I know you're going to want to know all the details about. Stay with us.
If you are a Floridian who needs prescription medication, you can now search for the lowest prescription prices in your neighborhood at www.myfloridarx.com. The 50 most common prescription drugs can be ranked by price, zip code, or pharmacy. Armed with this information, you could save up to $50 per month or $600 per year on each of your prescriptions. This message brought to you by Seniors vs. Crime and the Office of the Florida Attorney General.
So it's a Saturday morning in Tallahassee, and the kids are saying, what can we do? We want to do something fun. Well, on today's segment, we're going to tell you about the place you're going to want to take them every Saturday and every other day of the week. And here to tell us more about it are two community catalysts. We have Betsy Couch, who is the KCCI Community Catalyst Chair, and Bernice Cox, who's the KCCI Community Catalyst Co-Chair. So welcome, ladies, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so everybody hears all those letters and the description. What in the world is KCCI, and what is a community catalyst?
KCCI is the Knight Creative Communities Institute, and every year they pick 30 community leaders and bring them together to work on projects in Tallahassee. So one of the projects that was selected this past year, we started in October of 2012, was to promote and look at Cascades Park and also research the community to see what do Tallahasseans want to see taking place and happening in Cascades Park. And from that, we've really gotten involved with the amphitheater, with programming, with creating a new amenity within the park. So we've really been enjoying our experience.
Now let me jump back though. I mean, how did you find out what people want? Because I know we're going to talk a lot about something related to kids with this. How did you find out what people want in Tallahassee?
What we did as a group, first of all, when we selected Cascades Park to cultivate Cascades Park as our initiative, we did a lot of research on Cascades Park and what was going on with Cascades Park. And our next step was, what does the community want in this park? What do we see that the community wants in this park? And Dr. Josh Newman is a member of our team. Dr. Josh Newman heads his research group in his department. He oversees graduate students doing research. And he said, let's do a survey. So he chaired the committee that actually sent out a survey to see what did the community want to see in the park.
And what did you hear back?
We heard all the wonderful things from actually doing runs and walks in the park, using the trails, to lots of things to do with the amphitheater, to green space in the park, to one of the needs that was missing was something really designed just for children.
Okay, and I'll date myself, but I still remember the days when we had the merry-go-rounds and those real high slides. I don't think that's what you're talking about here, right?
No, from the research evolved Discovery at Cascades Cascades Park. And we were originally, one of our ideas was to do a community planting and build day and a garden within the park.
Right, which has been very popular all around Tallahassee, community gardens.
And one of our meetings with Blueprint 2000 with Wayne, he mentioned that Megan Mick, who owns From the Ground Up, which does unique playscapes, he mentioned that she had brought forward an idea to the Blueprint team, and maybe we should talk to her and potentially partner together. So it was interesting. Here we are as Catalyst, but also Wayne was serving as a catalyst, and so we started talking to Megan. She has become a member of our KCCI team, and from that, unofficially, and this has evolved into this great, unique playscape that will be, in essence, an area where people of all ages can come and play, but it's all out of natural features. So everything from huge stumps that kids can climb on, to a butterfly garden where someone can come and just sit and read, to a water feature. And of course, we came up with these great ideas as a team, and Megan had beautiful plans, but we needed to then fund it.
Right, so it's great to have the plans, but then I know with Blueprint there was the money to do the basics, but there wasn't money for all the amenities. So what did you guys do? How do you get people to, look at the times. We're in some of the toughest economic times, and you want to go out and ask individuals and businesses to help fund a community, great play area. How'd you do that?
Well, one of the things that we did originally whenever we first got together as a group and was trying to see what the community wanted, in addition to our survey, we met with stakeholders throughout the community, some of them being business leaders in the community, some of them being universities in the community college, and also wanted their input on what they wanted to see. We went back to a lot of these people. First Commerce Credit Union, I think Betsy had a great relationship with First Commerce Credit Union and brought that into our vision, and they became the presenting sponsor. Several members of our team reached out to other people that they knew trying to get funding. We also reached out to people to get in-kind services and materials donated. We have First Commerce Credit Union as the presenting sponsor of our Discovery Playscape. We have Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare. We talked about the water feature earlier that's going to sponsor the water feature.
Because they're also so committed to health and kids and
then
fighting obesity and all those things we care about.
There's others that.
And our whole team really, and I think that's our entire team sat down and we looked at what will it take to build this, and then who can we reach out to in the community, and we made sure that we asked businesses who their interests tied in with what we were trying to do. And the great thing about Discovery at Cascades Park is it will promote health and wellness with children, which is huge in the Tallahassee area. It's also something different and special, and it will be. As a mother, I was really excited about this because
you're going to be taking your kids there every Saturday.
Yeah, and then you can also go maybe see a performance at the amphitheater. You can go on a walk on the walks. It's just in this future, truly central park of Tallahassee. And we wouldn't have been able to do this without the support of the business partners. So we're extremely thankful not only for the cash sponsors like First Commerce Credit Union and TMH, but then also our in-kind partners like Bal Stern and different groups that have come together and have said, okay, well, we can help you not only promote it, but market it, getting the word out. Gary Jordan's going to be doing PSAs for us and really helping us get organized. Esposito's doing plants. So there were a lot of ways to help save money. The City of Tallahassee Utilities had talked about donating utility poles. So it goes back to having just a great team and our volunteer team that said, okay, who do we know and who can we ask to help support this initiative?
What impressed me when I look on your website and you see how many, the list is so long of all the people that are involved, most of them are places you know. It's local businesses, it's people that live here and my thought when I saw it was, these people are going to be using this park, and so part of it is they feel like they're leaving a little bit of their legacy in doing it. But that was what impressed me, and the other thought I had was, you know what, we need to appreciate those people. We need to shop at those stores, we need to use those businesses, because in the world's toughest economic time we've seen in decades, these businesses are stepping up and saying, we're going to make a difference. That's huge.
That is huge, and the commitment that they've given, and like you say, the commitment that they've given to not only this area, to this playscape, but also to the park in general.
Right.
But you're right. It's the generosity has just been eye-opening and just wonderful to see.
And they see the vision, you know, that this is a place for connectivity, but it's also making Tallahassee a better place to live. You know, here we are, we're going to have this 24-acre park, and to be able to bring forward even an additional amenity, and it's this Discovery Playscape, you know, something that no one else in North Florida has. That's a really big thing to be part of in the Tallahassee community.
And our location, you just look up and there's the Capitol. We're underneath the state's Capitol, which is kind of breathtaking whenever you take a look up and see our Capitol there.
And when you see the pictures of the things, I mean, I can see myself scampering up, maybe not as fast as my children, those different, the walls, the things that you can experience that make you feel like this is all part of nature. It's not the old metal concrete slides and swings. It's like really natural, which I think is going to make people just feel good being there. Now, question for you guys. So we hear about all these businesses involved, but you've got this whole team of volunteers. I have to say, I know the number of hours the two of you have put into this. This is all being done volunteer. Nobody's paid to do this. How do you get 30 people so excited that they take a big chunk of their life and donate it to this project?
I think it goes back to the original process of being a KCCI catalyst and picking a project. And so you automatically have a group of volunteers who are very passionate about what they're working on. They believe the long-term vision, they believe that mission. And so when you have people engaged, they're engaged because they truly believe in what you're working on. And I think that helped us in the fundraising aspect as well, because then the committee went out, and it's easy to sell something to a business when you really believe what you're promoting and you believe in the future of it.
Well, you know, I say 6 months, however many months it's going to be till we open. At that point, what do you guys want to say to the community? What do you want them to know about this Discovery play area? What do you want them to know about what this means to you personally? I'd like to know what you both think of that.
What it means to me, it was probably different than what it is to Betsy, but what it means to me, first of all, having seen this project through and having seen our community come together in a big way, that means so much to me. To have people come to our community and visit our community and see this wonderful playscape that is setting a trend nationally, that means a lot to me. And to have my grandchildren come when they visit and play on this playscape, that means a great deal to me.
And you say, I helped do this.
That will
I helped create
right,
this.
That will be good. Our team had a vision and helped create it.
Cool.
And it's just exciting to see the community come together and support something. You always hear about public-private partnerships, and this is one. You know, it's something that came from a group of volunteers. An idea stemmed from research that was done in the community. So you had a couple thousand people sharing their ideas, and this idea trickled up, and then having, you know, families and businesses come together to help fund it, and volunteers help make it happen, and then working with our governments who are accessible. I just think it shows why Tallahassee is such a great place to live, work, and play. And also there are still ways for businesses or individuals to get involved. We still have table sponsorship opportunities because we're going to have some picnic tables in the area.
It's not too late. You can still make a difference.
You can still be involved.
Right.
And then we probably will be coordinating a community planting day in the spring before the opening, and so we'll be doing more about that in the fall when we're ready to announce that. But there's a lot of ways for people to get involved.
Well, I just want to say to the two of you all, and to your committee, and to all of those sponsors, I mean, this really is what makes Tallahassee great. So we appreciate all the time you've given, and I promise you, when you take your children and your grandchildren there, they're going to say, boy, you've done something cool here. So congratulations to you all. We cannot wait for it to open. We'll look forward to hearing more about everything involved with your part of the project. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
And we do also want to mention there are a couple of websites. You want to decide, hey, you know what, I'd like to be a part of KCCI. I'd like to contribute some money maybe to having a park bench there in the Discovery Park area. There's two websites we want to mention that you can go to. The first one is discovery@cascades.com, or also kccitallahassee.com. Information on both KCCI and how you can be involved in this project. And right now, I know you're ready to run out to the park. Go ahead and drive by, see how great it looks, because in a few short months, we're going to be rolling it out to you, and you will love it. We're guaranteeing that. Thanks so much for watching this edition of City Talk.
Livable.